I love the way we're like, hey.
Hey, we're low energy today. It's so rainy out.
Yeah, we have a big storm, which is perfect making weather and art weather. And
what do people
chatting
say? It could be worse.
It
could be 3 feet of snow on the ground right now.
I wouldn't
that we have
mind
to
that, be honest.
shovel our cars out later on as we leave the studio.
Well, we thought we would do sort of a year in review.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the videos where we talk a lot, then this video is not for you. But if you do like to hear I think it's good for everybody to do this, you know, in their practice, in their life, kind of look back and see where we were a year ago and where we are today.
Right, it's December and we started this journey last December.
We did. I think that's why for us it's the end of the year, but it's also the beginning. Last year we were beginning this journey that we're on. So we wanted to kind of reflect back a little bit and what we've done, and also maybe look ahead, to see where we're going.
Definitely.
Yeah. So to go back in time, I feel like we need like this time last year we were kind of planning. We had the Gathering grant.
From Fiber Art Now.
From Fiber Art Now.
We worked with them on our programming that we did in East Providence that really started this whole creative partnership.
It did. We really have them to thank for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is nice. Thank you.
I know. Thank you too. But at that time we were it was definitely the beginning of us like starting a little bit of a creative community.
Yes.
We did not know exactly what form that would take, but we knew that we had something to say and we wanted to reach a lot of people.
We did. We really thought at the beginning, you know, we worked with sort of a cohort of ours who's now down in North Carolina, Faye. We've had her on videos before.
We have her to thank as well.
We have her to thank as well. She was really helping us navigate sort of the public space, the library space. We thought we were going to take this, because that's how we started, into libraries, and we still may not have ruled that out.
No, we haven't ruled it out.
Yeah, I really, I am really thinking a lot about, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but like, as I look back at what we did and then looking forward, I am finding myself coming back more to the mindfulness aspect of creating and how healthy that is, and how healing it is as well.
Right, and like personally too. And I think like what we've, at least one of my conclusions, and I'm assuming yours too, talking about like healthy practice, mindful practice, healing practice, how important that is that we have to also, as much as we love putting this energy out there when we have a lot to say, we also have to protect our creative space. And so that, I wouldn't say that like has changed some of our plans, but it's sort of like when you look at what's manageable of being a working artist, having some jobs that are outside of that realm. The most, for me, what it always comes back to is I communicate through my art the best. And like it all goes away if I stop making art. So looking at how much we can actually like be out there.
Yes.
It's okay to say out there physically, you know, do 1-2 things, do 1 or 2 things a year. And
that's absolutely.
And be okay with that.
Yeah, because we have to have that experience of creating and working ourselves, and to give that to share. It does not mean to give that to share. You know what I mean? To like, we have to kind of like gather that experience and then bring it out. It's not like we're this, you know, these classes that we are doing at the library. I mean, we had a lot because we wanted to talk about the connection of mindfulness and stitching, and we could keep talking about that.
It feeds us to talk about it, but what I think feeds us and, you know, then feeds the community is what we're making and what we're doing. And
I think a big part of what we discovered working together too is that we really like working together creatively, and we like bouncing off of each other and coming up with ideas together. And sometimes that translates to a video, and sometimes it just translates to us working. And so I think, not that that was surprising, because we've known each other creatively for years, but we really realized how much we're getting from that as well.
It's making our work stronger.
Yes, and I think that it became, for me, I'm drinking tea and like swallowing at the same time. For me at least, it also became part of encouraging you out there to find that either in yourself or with a community or with a creative partner, or just to really start discovering in your life what feeds you and what brings out the best in you. Like, I feel like when I work with Haley, it really brings out a lot in me. Yeah, and so I think that you have to have somebody. It's almost like, this is going to sound so weird, but you know, if you have, like, I have this tea sitting here in this mug, it's going to stay in this mug unless if somebody were to put a straw in and start like drawing something out, then all of a sudden the mug's overflowing and there's, you know, stuff coming out. It's kind of that same analogy. I don't know if that was a good analogy, but yeah, it just, it takes more than just the mug of tea to get the tea out of the mug is, I guess, a better analogy. Yes, you need a person, you need a straw, you need something. So
it's hard. You can't create in a vacuum.
You cannot create in a vacuum. Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully us creating on video has inspired other people out there to just sort of let go of some of their inhibitions. Because I think that's a lot of what you're saying and what we've been doing.
Yes.
Been letting go a lot this year of our inhibitions now.
Yeah. And preconceived ideas about what I think, especially Haley has a very academic knowledge of, she has her MFA, you're a fine artist. I feel like I'm much more of a self-taught. You know, I've taken a lot of classes. I've taught a lot.
You're extremely
I mean, I'm not. It's not that I
don't
know, but it's been a different path.
Different path.
Yes,
for sure.
and I definitely tend to, I think, question sometimes, like, how much do I really know about things? And I've learned that, like, oh, I know more than I thought I did. I really did, and it gives me the confidence that really I can do more, and I'm doing more. I'm drawing, I'm painting, I'm doing, you know, not like any crazy, but I'm finding the healing power in that.
Yeah.
Not just stitching.
Well, and that brings me to a point I wanted to bring up of, like, since we've been working together for a year pretty intensely, what have I learned from you? I'd like to tell you what I've learned from you.
Yeah.
And, I guess
tell each other
what this experience has done for me, how I've grown.
Oh, I might start crying.
Year. Oh my God. Well, I think, and what makes you truly unique as an artist, and you know, hopefully I can relay some of my observations to you.
Oh, I can't wait to do the same. Okay, this is gonna be good.
Oh no, now I'm really pumped.
Now the video has a direction.
Well, I think your handle of, like, stitching, embroidery, your mastery of sewing, and your attention to detail is something that is so impressive.
Oh, thank you.
And I think
I would never describe myself like that. Thank you.
You've done it since I've learned, you know, you've done this since you were a kid, and like, don't ever take that for granted. You have a skill that people don't have. You know, a lot of people don't have, because you've been doing it. It's been so second nature to you for so long. And your generosity with talking about stitching and color, you know, different colors and tools and materials has been really invaluable to me. I am somebody that, like, when I make art, I am such a composition queen. I'm such a big, you know, compose, that sometimes I forget about the magic that things like a stitch here and there, or a shimmer or something, what kind of, like, personality it gives to your work, what kind of story that detail shows. And I think that you've really shown me that this year of, like, put in the flourishes, put in the story, put in the signature. That you know, that things like stitching, things like a little bit of a different material, also humor. Don't be afraid to put humor and illustrative. You know, go with, if something's looking illustrative, go with it, own it. Right. You know, be proud of it. You know, that is really wonderful.
That makes me feel really good. Sometimes it's funny. Some of the things you're describing, I think of are, like, sometimes my shortcomings in a way.
Not at all.
So
not at all. I don't think so at all.
Oh,
I think that all of those, like, again, just all the you're so charmed sometimes by materials, and That's what this is about. And I think, like, don't lose that happiness you get when you see something that makes you smile.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Yes, I know, because it is funny. I do feel like we have a bit of yin and yang, because I feel like what I really feel so grateful that you've taught me is really, not that I don't think about composition, but thinking of it in a different way, and thinking of it in a way that not to be afraid of tension, and not to be afraid of making yourself uncomfortable a little bit with what I'm doing, pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. And I think that you have really taught me the value of, like, sort of like following something. I can be somebody who kind of tends to, like, oh, I like this, oh, I like that, bright shiny object kind of a creator. And you've really, really made me see the value in starting kind of out of the beginning of the path and following, and then now what does that look like? Okay, now where could you go with this? Where can you go? Like stretching my materials, stretching myself, stretching the boundaries of what I'm working with. And that has been really, really huge. And just challenging myself you just challenge me to think of things from a different perspective of what happens if you do this, or why you make me ask why. Before it would be like, oh, should I or shouldn't I? You make me ask why am I doing that? Why do I think it needs something else? Why do I think I'm done? Why, I think it's I think we have a good balance.
I think what we're doing for each other right now is we're reflecting upon, and I think, like, that's one thing when you're working in a conversational way, which is what we do. We basically just have conversations about art.
We do,
and talk about where when you have somebody to have a conversation with and ask the question, why? It's what we're doing right now. We're looking back and being like, really, what did I learn from you? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, why are we doing this?
Yeah. And why do we like to work together? And that's what you should be doing for your art as well.
Yes.
So this whole thing is...
I know. And, and that can be like, you can find that. I think one of the things I said about Haley, I think I said this, is she pushes me a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And I feel that sometimes when we choose somebody we want to do something with, we may not choose that person who pushes us outside of our comfort zone. So one thing I would like challenge everybody watching this to do is to find that person, or maybe it's just a person that you find on YouTube. It doesn't have to be a real person,
right?
But it makes you do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Because one thing I've learned in life is that really most times, if you're not uncomfortable a little bit, you're really not growing or changing.
Right.
And what's uncomfortable becomes comfortable, and it feels good. And then you can search out that next thing. And then that's why you keep growing.
Right. And it all comes back to the quote we started with from Art and Fear. Do I have that book with me? Let me look.
I don't know.
So when we first started our journey of how we're going to talk about expressive stitching, it reminded us of a book, a quote from a book.
Well, it reminded Haley.
Yeah,
and then I just jumped on that bandwagon.
It's sort of the framework of how I think about art, and especially with us being in a craft realm.
Yes.
And there's this book called Art and Fear by David Bayles. Bayles and Ted Orland, and it's a book I read in grad school, and I think it really like sums up some of my thoughts about art. And it says, your job as an artist is to push craft to its limits without being trapped by it. The trap is perfection. Unless your work continually generates new and unresolved issues, there's no reason for your next work to be any different than your last.
Wow, that is exactly right on, spot on. I forgot about that.
Yep. And it's a great book, and it talks about sort of like their difference, and it has nothing to do with media, what media you work in, but it has everything to do with your intentions as
and it's
an
only
artist.
a tiny book. It's like a...
Oh, yeah, it's very small.
Yeah.
quick read, but it sort of defines the difference between art and other type of creative endeavors, I think, in a way that makes a lot of sense to me. And it's that as an artist, we're always creating new problems for ourselves instead of trying to solve problems. And the example they use in the book is like a piano maker, and how once this piano maker reaches perfection, there's no reason for them to make a design with their next piano any differently, because they've made the perfect piano.
Right.
And there's also wonderful satisfaction in that, but it's not the same as making art.
Right.
And the excitement that comes with posing yourself new problems and new information all the time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're saying. That's been our year.
That is, it's funny. It's just, I cannot believe we came right back around to that quote.
Right.
It really was setting the tone for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And hopefully next year.
Next year too.
So I should say, this has been a challenging year for me to make art. I feel like the work I did with Liz was the best work I've done, because I felt a little bit of a dry spell this year. So our working together was sort of the only thing kind of keeping me going this year. That's just a personal thing that I've been going through.
It was a rough year. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we both had things going on, behind the scenes. We don't share too much here about our personal lives, but yeah, we've had a lot going on this year, and I think this was definitely a bright spot. And I realized that when I would get into a slump, the thing that would bring me out is making something and doing something. And even it's maybe I don't even know if I've told you this recently. Like, I've had a few other things I'm dealing with, and I've been writing poetry, and that has been, it's nothing big, and it's only for me, and it just makes me think. It's almost like looking at a pile of something and you're like, what am I going to make with this? Only I would be thinking of like words or images that come, and then turning that into just something on a page. Instead of before, if I was going to use writing, it would be like maybe stream of consciousness, like your morning pages. This felt much more like I was fabricating or weaving words together to make something. And that's been helpful. But it's the same way I feel. I was telling Haley, I'm really trying to be better about a sketchbook, doing a sketchbook.
Same. Yeah, we're both trying to do that. I think, like, if it wasn't for our working together, I'm wondering what my year would have looked like, because I was saying that prior to like 2024, really, and 2023 had its challenges, but like, I felt like there was just this well, the art was just coming, and then that stopped.
Yeah, even at the beginning of the year, we felt that way.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
I know, sometimes I'm like, oh no, are we like, did we dry ourselves out? But I think
this multiple times. This is the first time.
It's definitely, it's happened. Yeah, I think when you're a creative person, which we both, not to like be like now hawking somebody's wares, but we'll share a link. We have Faye, the person who helped us when we were first starting, that we mentioned earlier. She is going to be teaching an online workshop. It's a 2-part workshop. And it is about the working through creative burnout. And I think we're both very
I'm definitely going to take it.
It's I don't mean it's in the studio. I mean it's in the studio.
It's an overarching program called In the Studio.
Yes.
It's all online. It happens the second week in February.
We'll
put a link, because Liz is also.
I'm doing a little thing about minis.
Pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. You already have that set up for yourself in like I'm doing an online class.
Yeah, I'm a little. Haley's been a good cheerleader, and to be honest. I can say no, but I knew it was something it makes me uncomfortable. I've only taught online a couple of times. I love working with students being in the room. I think I'm sort of an energy driven person. I realize that about myself, where, I like feeling people's energy. So I'm nervous about teaching online, because I feel like I'll probably be fine. I know it's going to be different. I know it will be different. So So we'll see how that goes. But we're both excited to take Faye's workshop because
Faye's as well with the and kind of just also hearing it from a different point of view. Faye is, I mean, she's so knowledgeable and
we've gone through her process with her, which is great. She's kind of our third partner behind the scenes.
Definitely.
Well, we don't keep her too far behind the scenes. You guys have met her, but yeah, she challenges us. She pushes us to do things that we maybe are like, oh gosh. So, but yeah, let's talk now. We're kind of already segueing.
Class, what else is on the docket for 2025 for you?
So, I do think another thing Haley has been really challenging me to do, and I don't know if it's gonna, I keep mentioning it and not doing it, are some patterns. Even though I feel like I'm moving further away from that on my personal journey, I think it would be a good thing for me to try and tackle. So that is a possibility.
Yeah.
I'm definitely really going to work on doing, maintaining a sketchbook and maintaining practice. And when I say sketchbook, it's not like I can't draw. So, but I'm working on that too.
You can.
I can, but I'm working on embracing the way I draw, I guess is kind of, I want to explore that more.
Sure.
And then see what that brings to my textile practice as well, because I find myself, I've always been very I use all kinds of multimedia, what's the word? Techniques. Thank you. Yes. And I would like to even go further down that road. So I think this is a way of doing it. And I find, even just starting to, kind of set some time aside each day to do a little bit of sketchbook time, even if it's only 15 minutes, because as we've talked about before, great things happen in 15-minute increments. Bringing like I find myself like, oh, I want to put that fabric or I want to put that yarn in my sketchbook. So I'm doing it now. I used to kind of think, oh, it's got to be all slotted separately because I was intimidated by the word sketchbook.
Yeah.
Really, it was. I'm just thinking of it now as like almost like a physical place where I can sit and vomit out stuff. So yeah. How about you? What are some of your...
Oh gosh, well, it's funny because I asked you the question without me really knowing what I was going to be doing. Well, I guess I have some new classes and talks I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be giving a talk in March. I'll put all this information as it gets closer. I'm going to be doing a bigger workshop in May up in like the Essex, Mass area. So I'm going to be going down to the Cape, then I'm going to the North Shore. Then I think I'm still going to be doing some shows and things this upcoming spring. I think my auntie Deanne Fitzpatrick, she has a retreat coming up in February I'm going to make an appearance at.
You are busy. You're doing a lot of teaching and a lot of...
Yeah, I have some things set up, but not giving myself a couple months. Yeah. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this is, you hear it first here, hoping I'm to be doing an artist residency this year, but I have a few things up in the air. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out schedule wise to see if that'll happen. I've been working towards a residency for years. So I'm really hoping it works out. If not, 2026 is another year.
It's another year. There's always, I know.
So, that brings me through the first half of my year.
That
really is those things. And I'm hoping to make more art. I've recently became a little more energized with that, and doing more like mixed media textiles, wall pieces. So I'm hoping that keeps on keeping on. I've been doing less hooking just because of some like health stuff I've had going on, which is a little upsetting, but it's also like, you know what? Take a break.
Yeah. Sometimes it's when you take a break when you come back to it, it's like it's new again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
So, but I do have some projects going there. Yeah. So all sorts of different things.
I know. I think I do think like when you talk about teaching, I need to take the leap back in and start teaching more again.
It's what we just said though. It's okay to do a couple things a year.
I taught for a long time, and I found that talk about dry spells creatively. For some reason I'm really enjoying.
Teaching is very nourishing, but it's also
it is. You gotta find your time. You're creating in a different way. I'm realizing that without having to put the energy into creating classes or creating pieces for classes, which I absolutely love.
Right.
But I'm now creating in a different way, and it's given me this freedom that like I've never felt before. So that's been huge for me. I think one thing that Haley has been challenging me to do is to start like applying.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, I'm such a
like
pusher.
submit things for shows. Well, I never thought of myself in that way before.
Oh, sure.
So you've enabled me. That's another thing you've done.
That's
you've
great.
enabled me to start thinking of myself that way. And I'm not even saying the goal is to get something into a show. It's the goal.
Applying can be difficult.
It's
we should
the
talk
applying.
about that sometime.
Yes, yeah.
We
Like
should
I
talk
want to
about
learn
sometime.
that process. I want to discover how that is. You know, and it's sort of when you least expect these things, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get that. And so, yeah.
If that's anything that you guys would be interested in hearing about, like sort of navigating entry into the fine art world through different types of shows or what have you. I certainly am not an expert in it, but I have been in that realm for quite a while. So I can share some things. Also, you know, looking back at the types of videos we made this year and maybe what we want to do going forward, we've made videos, we've done technique videos, we've done critique videos, we've done field trips.
Yep.
What else do you guys want to see?
Yeah, that is true. Do you like the technique videos? Do you like the field trips? Do you like creative? We've done a couple challenges.
We have. Yeah. Challenges. Those have been very fun.
The
too.
challenges are fun.
Yeah.
They really are fun. They do. They do. And speaking of which, we're going to have another video soon wrapping up our mini challenge.
Yes.
So that'll be our final challenge of 2024.
Yeah.
And then we need to start thinking of some challenges for 2025.
Yep. Yeah.
What should we do? What would you guys like to see? Maybe we open it up and have a challenge that we ask somebody else to come up with for us.
That would be wonderful.
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, if you have any you know, thoughts on that, you can drop them in the comments. Email expressivestitch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, we're gonna take a couple weeks off and we'll be back sometime in January.
Yep, it's the holiday
with some
season.
New art and all that.
Yes, I hope you guys enjoy a wonderful holiday season and embrace the winter. Right? This is prime
Could
creative.
be 3 feet of snow.
I know, but it is when it is snowy. Then you get to like
I
huddle inside. And
we're in southeastern New England. We're in Rhode Island, so we are very much on the coast. We don't get a ton of snow here.
No,
we have got, you know, we do get a walloped every once in a while.
Yeah,
but it's been a few years. We're due for a
good nor'easter.
snowstorm. I just talked to a friend of mine in Vermont, and he was saying that they had 3 feet of snow counting. They were under like state of emergency, what have you. That was last week. I think he traveled from Thanksgiving into it.
Wow.
So it could, you know.
It could happen. It's going to happen. Even today is a day where like it's just, you know, it's wind and rain. It's warm, but yeah, so we're looking forward to some good creative time this winter. So take care.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2025.
Yep.
Can't believe we're saying that.
I know.
Crazy.